The scent of bleach and expensive cologne never mix the way you expect. One promises cleanliness, the other whispers of secrets that should stay buried. Tonight, 62 floors above Seoul, both hung in the air like a warning she should have heeded. Girl, listen. I need you to understand something about Amara. This woman survived things that would break most people clean in half. 28 years old. 5'6" of quiet strength wrapped in brown skin that glowed like copper under harsh lights. She learned long ago that being invisible meant staying alive. Her cleaning cart rattled down the marble hallway, Italian marble, cost more per square foot than her apartment per year. Her uniform hung 2 sizes too big. The name tag read Maria because the agency said Hispanic names caused less trouble than African ones. The penthouse was supposed to be empty, clean between 2 and 4 a.m. when the owner was never home. Except tonight, the owner was very much present. She heard them before she saw them. Male voices speaking rapid Korean, the kind of conversation that decides whether people live or vanish. Do you know what happens when 2 people from completely different universes collide? She was about to find out. Her cart had already crossed the threshold. Backing out would draw more attention. She turned slowly, eyes on the ground, submissive, invisible, safe. 5 men occupied the living area, but it was the 5th who made her breath catch. Kang Jun-ho. She knew that face. From files stolen from her father's study 15 years ago, before the fire, before she lost everyone who mattered. He stood over 6 feet tall, lean muscle in a black suit, sharp jaw, sharper eyes. Beautiful if it wasn't so terrifying. Those dark eyes found her now. "Why is the cleaning woman here?" he asked in Korean, not acknowledging her directly. "Scheduling mistake, boss." The subordinate's voice trembled. Jun-ho's lip curled. Then he looked at her and spoke words that would change everything. "What is a dirty black woman doing in my house?" His Korean dripped with contempt. "These creatures are disgusting, just standing there. Girl, I need you to sit with that." The men laughed, certain she couldn't understand a syllable. They were catastrophically wrong. Something cracked inside her. 15 years of hiding. 15 years of being Maria, being nobody, being safe. And this monster had just spit on everything she buried. She raised her eyes, met his gaze, watched confusion ripple across his features. Then she opened her mouth. They say, even if a tiger catches you, you survive if you keep your wits. Her Korean was native perfect. Years of immersion, bedtime stories from loving parents, a childhood in the city he believed he owned. The room went silent. Jun-ho's smirk vanished, replaced by shock, and something like fascination. "But do you know what's scarier than a tiger?" she continued. "A house cat convinced it's a tiger." She stepped closer, until she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. One man reached for his waist. Jun-ho raised a hand. All movement stopped. "Who are you?" Barely a whisper. "I'm the woman finishing cleaning your apartment, unless you want to continue this, but my Korean includes words your grandmother would weep to hear." She turned her back on the most dangerous man in Seoul, walked to her cart like she hadn't just committed social suicide. By the way, if this story has you hooked, hit subscribe so you don't miss how it ends. We're just getting started. Everyone out, now. His men filed out, the door clicked, just the 2 of them, city glittering 62 floors below. "You're not actually a cleaning woman." She sprayed the window. "I'm literally cleaning your windows right now." "That's not what I meant. I know what you meant, but what should concern you is what you revealed about yourself." "And what's that?" "That you're exactly who I suspected. Small, cruel, so insecure you tear down a woman with a mop to feel significant." His jaw tightened. "Do you know who I am? Kang Jun-ho. Took control of the syndicate at 26 after your father's sudden retirement." She let it hang. They both knew his father hadn't retired. 60% of Incheon shipping, reputation for ruthless but fair. Except fairness doesn't extend to people you consider beneath you. She grabbed her cart. "Wait." The word seemed torn from him. "What's your name? Your real name? You haven't earned that yet." and she walked out. In 34 years, no one had spoken to Junho like that. No one had looked at him with contempt and fearlessness combined. No one had turned their back and walked away. He stood surrounded by evidence of his power and felt something he hadn't experienced since childhood: curiosity. And underneath it, something more dangerous. The first crack in walls he'd spent his life building. Find that woman. Everything about her. Real name. Where she learned Korean. Everything. He walked to the window she'd cleaned, her circular motions still visible, fading slowly. For the first time in years, Kang Jun-ho smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Amara's hands didn't shake until the elevator doors closed. She slid down the wall. Stupid. 15 years of hiding, thrown away because some gangster wounded her pride. But it wasn't just pride. It was every time she'd been looked through. Every time reduced to skin color. Every time she swallowed truth to stay safe. Tonight she spit it back. First full breath in 15 years. But she knew. She'd become visible to Seoul's most dangerous man, one you couldn't hide from, and part of her wanted to see what happened next. 3 days later, supervisor's office, she expected termination. You've been reassigned. Penthouse, exclusive contract, triple pay. Mr. Park was sweating, this tyrant who terrorized staff daily, sweating like he faced consequences. What if I decline? People don't decline, Mr. Kang. What if I quit? Then he'll find you regardless, whatever you set up there. He's interested now. She should have run, packed bags, disappeared again. But eventually, exhaustion wins. Eventually, you stop looking over your shoulder. She signed the papers. Next night, he was waiting. You came back. You didn't give alternatives. Everyone has alternatives. You chose to return. Why? Maybe I'm curious what happens next. He rose, moved like water, close enough she could smell his cologne, storms and dark rooms and choices that couldn't be undone. Everyone exists somewhere. Everyone has a thread that unravels everything. And you want to pull mine. I want to understand why a woman speaking native Korean, quoting my grandmother's proverbs, knowing things about me that aren't public, is scrubbing floors at 3 a.m. Maybe I'm exactly what I appear. Maybe. He touched a strand of escaped hair. But I don't believe that. She should have stepped back. She didn't. What do you believe? That you're running for a long time, and you're exhausted. Everyone runs from something, but not everyone stops. Not everyone looks at the monster chasing them and says, "You don't frighten me." Are you the monster here? I've been called worse, by people who know you or fear you. Is there a difference? For some men, no, but I think you wish there was. Somewhere under those suits and cold eyes is someone tired of being feared. The air charged between them. Careful. Keep talking like that and I might believe you see me. Would that be terrible? He pulled back. The warmth vanished. Get to work. Use the main elevator when you finish. Not service. Why? Because you're not the help anymore. You're something else. I haven't determined what. He disappeared into his study. She stood alone, heart pounding, hands steadier than in years. She didn't understand the game, but she didn't want it to end. Here's what nobody tells you about falling for dangerous men. It happens slowly. Glances lasting too long. Questions revealing too much. Silences more intimate than conversation. 3 moments mattered over the following weeks. First week, his study. She cleaned while he worked. What's your favorite Seoul memory? From before. Cherry blossoms in Uido. My father took me every spring. Your father, someone important, someone who mattered to me, was. People leave. He didn't push. Second week. One of his men looked at her like dirt. Junho noticed. That man didn't work there the next day. He forgot his manners, I reminded him. Third week. She found him on the balcony. City below, 62 floors from ordinary life. My mother loved heights. She said up here you could pretend the world was simpler. Amara stood beside him, close, not touching. What happened to her? Same thing that happens in my world. She became leverage, then a casualty. I'm sorry. Don't be. I made them pay. Everyone. She should have been horrified. Part of her was, but a larger part understood. Is that why you do this? The power. Everything. It's all I've known. He looked at her. But lately, I've questioned if that's true. What changed? You. The word hung between them. You looked at me like a person, not boss or monster or means to an end. Do you understand how rare that is for someone like me? Maybe you've been looking wrong places. Maybe. He faced her fully. Or maybe everywhere was wrong until you walked in with a mop and called me a house cat pretending to be a tiger. I was furious. I know. You deserved it. I know. He took her hand. I've been cruel my whole life. Only language I knew. But when you showed me what I looked like through your eyes, nobody ever had that courage. What did you see? Someone I didn't want to be. His thumb traced circles on her palm. Tell me your real name, please. This man who never asked, who took what he wanted, asking her. 15 years of hiding. Exhaustion 1. Amara Okonkwo Reyes, daughter of Ambassador James Okonkwo. His grip tightened. The ambassador killed 15 years ago, here in Seoul, with his wife and daughter. The daughter survived. Reports were wrong. She pulled free, stepped back. Warmth replaced by something terrible. My mother hid me in a closet, told me not to make a sound no matter what. I obeyed. Through her screaming, through the shots. Junio, when this is over, when you are safe, I am going to ask properly if I can kiss you, because you deserve to be chosen, not in crisis, because we want each other. And if I say yes, then I will spend my life making sure you never regret it. Girl, this was not a declaration of love. It was a declaration of war against everyone who had ever hurt her. The next morning, a folder waited outside her door. Photographs of Marcus Webb arriving at the airport, records of his hotel, transcripts of his calls, and a note in Junho's handwriting, he works for Wells. Wells is scared because you have protection now. When they move, we will be ready. You are not alone anymore. She held that note for a long time, feeling something frozen since Chicago crack open, something that felt dangerously like hope. But hope in this world is a target, and the enemies circling them were about to make their move. The attack came on a Tuesday. Ordinary, boring, the kind of day where nothing is supposed to happen. Zara was in the garden with Minu teaching him about chamomile and healing when the world exploded. She did not hear a warning. One moment, peace. The next, the garden wall erupted inward, chunks of stone flying like shrapnel. Junho appeared from nowhere, tackling her and Minu to the ground, covering them as debris rained down. Stay down, he commanded, pulling out his phone, shouting orders. Then Minu screamed. A masked man had grabbed the boy, was dragging him toward a black van that had crashed through the gate. Zara did not think. She grabbed an iron garden stake and ran. The man saw her coming, raised a weapon. She ducked, swung, connected with his arm. He dropped Minu. She grabbed the boy, pulled him behind a fountain. 3 more men, weapons drawn. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. But then Junho was there, moving like something unleashed. She did not see what he did, just saw bodies drop. 1, 2, 3. And then silence. He pulled her and Minu into his arms, pressing them against his chest. I have you, he said, voice ragged. I have you both. You are safe. In the armored vehicle speeding away from the mansion, Junho explained, the Park family, rivals who have wanted my territory for years. They knew about you, knew you mattered to me, because of what is between us, because of everything, because of the way I look at you, because nothing stays secret in this world. His hand found hers. I almost lost you both today, but you did not, because you fought back. You grabbed a weapon and defended my son. You could have run. You ran toward danger instead. I told you, I am not most people. No, you are extraordinary. The safe house was a cabin in the mountains, isolated, hidden, nothing but trees and sky and silence. The cabin was safe, for now. That night they stood on the porch. The cold mountain air bit at her skin. A car engine echoed in the distance. He tensed, hand on his weapon. They waited. It passed. "We are never completely safe," he said. "Not in my world. Tell me about her, your wife." He was silent for a long moment. "Sue Young. Arranged marriage, like most in families like mine, but she made me laugh, made me want to be better." His voice cracked. "They killed her to send a message that anyone I care about can be taken, that love is a weakness." "I know about losing everything," she said. "Wells did not just take my career. He took my identity, my ability to trust. What he did, I will make him pay. That is not why I am telling you." She stepped closer. "I know the risk. Loving you makes me a target. I am choosing it anyway. You and Minu became my family. I do not run from family anymore." He kissed her then, not gentle, not sweet, a claiming, a declaration, his hands buried in her braids, tilting her head back, her fingers fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. Weeks of pretending, gone. Years of loneliness, shattered. When they broke apart, breathing ragged, she laughed. "We are terrible at keeping promises." The worst, he was almost smiling. She fell asleep in his arms that night, warm and safe for the first time since before Chicago. Neither of them heard his phone vibrate on the table. The message waited until morning. "We know where you are." They came at dawn. "Girl, I wish I could tell you they had more time, more stolen moments, more whispered conversations in the dark, but the universe does not give grace to people like them." Zara woke to Junho shaking her shoulder, his face granite. "They found us. Get Minu, now." She moved on autopilot, grabbed the sleeping boy, wrapped him in a blanket, held him against her chest. Junho pressed a phone into her hand. "If we get separated, press 1. My people will come. We are not getting separated. Promise me." She met his eyes, saw the fear he was trying to hide. "I promise." The first explosion hit the front of the cabin. Junho shoved them toward the back door, firing into the smoke and chaos. Zara ran. Minu clutched against her, his small arms around her neck. The forest swallowed them. Branches tore at her clothes. Roots tried to trip her. Gunfire behind them, getting closer. Then Junho was beside her, grabbing her hand. "Secondary location, half a mile north. We can hold there." They ran, but the enemies had planned well. Men appeared from the trees ahead, cutting them off. Junho stepped in front of them, weapon raised. Zara pressed against a tree, shielding Minu with her body. The firefight was brief, brutal. Junho moved like death given form. But there were too many. She saw it happen in slow motion, the man coming from Junho's blind side, the weapon rising, the shot. Junho spun, took the bullet meant for her, crumpled. No. The word tore from her throat. She grabbed the weapon from his fallen hand, fired at the man who shot him. He went down, more coming. She could hear them, but she could not run, could not leave him. Dark liquid spread across his shirt, too much, too fast. Zara pressed her hands against the wound, training, taking over even as her heart shattered. "Stay with me," she commanded. "Do not you dare leave us." Minu was crying beside her. "Daddy, wake up. Daddy, please." Junho's eyes fluttered, focused on her face. "Take Minu. Run. I am not leaving you." "Zara." I said no. Her voice cracked. "I did not survive everything just to lose you now, so you are going to stay conscious. I am going to stop this bleeding, and we are going to get through this together." "Bossy," he mumbled, his lips twitched. "I like it. Save your strength for staying alive." Her hands moved with desperate precision. Pressure on the wound, check for exit, finding one, no bullet to dig out. The sound of helicopters overhead, Junho's back up. The remaining attackers fled as armed men rappelled down through the trees. She did not stop working until medics took over, did not let go of his hand until they loaded him into the helicopter. "You saved him," one of the medics said. "That field dressing kept him alive. I was a nurse. You are a miracle." "No." She looked at Junho's pale face, the oxygen mask over his mouth. "He is." The surgery took 6 hours. Zara sat in the waiting room, covered in dried blood, Minu asleep in her lap. She did not eat, did not sleep, just waited. When the doctor finally came out, she stopped breathing. "He will live." 3 words, the most beautiful 3 words she had ever heard. Junho looked smaller in the hospital bed, pale. human in a way she had never seen him, but his eyes opened when she walked in. "You stayed," he whispered. "I told you." She sat beside him, taking his hand. "I do not run from family." Minu climbed onto the bed carefully and curled against his father. "Daddy, I was so scared." "I know, I am sorry." "Zara fixed you." The boy looked up with wonder. "She saved you like she saved me." Junho's eyes met hers. "Yes, she did. The Park family is finished. My men handled them while I was in surgery. They will never threaten us again. And Wells? Being handled." Webb talked, gave us everything. Wells faces multiple charges now, several women coming forward. His career is over. His freedom is next. Zara closed her eyes. Something released in her chest. Something she had carried for 8 months. It is over. Almost. Junho squeezed her hand. "There is one more thing." "What?" "Marry me." She opened her eyes. "You are proposing in a hospital bed. I almost died today. I am not wasting another second." His eyes burned into hers. "Marry me, Zara. Be my wife. Be Minu's mother. Let me spend the rest of my life earning what you gave me today." "What is that?" "Everything." His voice cracked. "You gave me everything." She leaned down and kissed him. Soft, gentle, a promise. Yes. 1 year later, the garden had been rebuilt, walls stronger now, but covered in climbing roses Minu helped plant. Zara stood before the mirror, adjusting the white dress that flowed around her like water. A knock at the door. Minu peeked in, wearing a tiny suit, hair actually combed. "You look like a princess. And you look like a prince. I have the rings." He held up a small pillow. "I will not drop them. I practiced all week." She knelt down, cupping his face. "I love you, Minu." "I know." He smiled. "I loved you first. From the market. I knew you were supposed to be my mom." The ceremony was small, just close family and trusted friends, but it was perfect. Shunho waited at the altar, looking at her like she was sunrise after the longest night. His vows were simple. "You saved my son, then you saved me. Now I want to spend forever saving you back." Hers were simpler. "You saw me when I was invisible. You believed me when no one else did. You became my home." When they kissed, Minu cheered loud enough to scare the birds from the trees. At the reception, a guest asked Minu about the woman his father married. "Who is that lady?" Minu looked up with the biggest smile. "That is my mom. She saved me once, now she saves me every day." Across the garden, Zara caught his words, caught Junho's eyes. The smell of flowers and joy hit her nose at the exact same moment. And she was finally home. Girl, listen. Some stories start with tragedy. This one started with a boy screaming in a night market and a woman who had nothing left to lose. She thought she was invisible. She thought love was for other people. But sometimes the most dangerous man becomes the safest place. Sometimes the child who needs saving saves you. And sometimes you get to write a new ending. That is it for today, beautiful people. If this touched your heart, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to believe in second chances. Subscribe so you do not miss the next time we fall in love together. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, your story is not over yet. The best part might be just around the corner. This is Maya, signing off. See you next time.